So today we will start
Yes, sir.
the topic, the senses. Okay, in that we are going to talk about sensory pathway, how the sensory pathway is there, means how it starts, how it begins, how it's end. Okay, what are the characteristics? Just like pain, sensation means how many types of sensations are there. We will we will see. Okay, and what are the cutaneous sensation? Cutaneous, subcutaneous sensation, pain, muscle sense, how the sense of taste, smell, hunger, and thirst are seen. And we have ear sense. Also, it is also a type of sense. Ear, eye, both are senses. Okay, so we will talk in detail about this topics. So let's start the senses. Our senses constantly provide us with information about our surroundings. We see, hear, and touch. The senses of taste and smell enable us to enjoy the flavor of our food or warn us that food has spoiled and may be dangerous to eat. Our sense of equilibrium keeps us upright. We also get information from our senses about what is happening inside the body. The pain of a headache, for example, promotes us to do something about it. Such as we will take aspirin. In general, this is the purpose of sensation to enable the body to respond appropriately to every ever-changing situation and maintain homeostasis. Status. Okay, so basically, what a sense can do. Okay, it can do two things. What it can do? It can do two things. One thing is giving information. What one thing is, it gives information about surroundings. Okay, so by senses only, we will able to know about our surroundings. This is the first thing, and this, like what we can see with the help of eyes, we can see. Then only we can respond. If there is no vision, what will happen? We cannot able to see the surroundings. What happening in and around our surroundings, we cannot able to see. Okay, so there's the reason we need to see, hear. The second thing, we need to hear. Then only we will respond. No? Okay, this is the second thing. Third thing is touch. Whenever you want to pick up anything, whenever you want to do any something, if you want to ride the bike, then you have to the sensation of touch. Then only you can ride. Okay, so these are the things very important. What are happening in and around or surroundings, with the help of senses only we can observe. ओके, सो हमें क्या है, जो भी महसूस कर सकते हैं हम, जैसा कि देख सकते हैं, बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है, और सुन सकते हैं, और महसूस कर सकते हैं, किसी चीज को छू सकते हैं, ये सब चीजें क्या है, सेंसेस। ये हमारे जो भी अतराफ में होने वाली चीजों को हमें बतलाता है, ठीक है। द सेंस ऑफ टेस्ट एंड स्मेल enable us to enjoy the flavor of our food or warn us that food has spoiled and may be dangerous to eat. So basically, another types of sense are taste and smell. What taste and smell do? It can help us to enjoy the flavor of the food. Okay, how the taste of the food? It is sweet. Okay, is it uh, sour? Is it spicy? Okay, different types of taste. You can enjoy the flavor of the food, and as well as with the help of smell, you can smell around the things. The good smell, bad smell also is there. Bad smell inform that there is something bad is there in and around your surrounding. If the food is contagious, what will happen? Some sort of smell you will absorb there, it will inform to your brain. The brain replies that please do not eat this food. So with the help of sense only, we can do that. Okay, so that is the reason we have taste and smell. Okay, next, this is the one type of sense. Okay. Another is for to know the surroundings. Okay. To know the surroundings, we need these types of senses, five senses. Then another type of senses is this information of sense, what is happening inside the body. One sense is giving you the information about the surroundings, and second sense, it will give the information inside the body. Like example, one sense is pain. Pain also sense. You can you can absorb that. You can see that. You cannot see with your naked eye, but you can feel it. The pain is felt. Okay. Why do you have pain in the body? Why do you have pain in the body? Because it gives the information inside the body that something is wrong. The homeostasis, equilibrium is not maintaining in the body. Okay. So that's the reason the pain in the form of pain, it is giving information to the brain or other parts of the body. So you have to resolve the other part of the body. Okay. So first thing is, why do you have sense? Information about surroundings. Okay. Second is information inside the body. Okay. So these are the two things we have to know about when we have sense. Whenever sense concept is there, you have to remember these two things: information in and around the surroundings, and second is information inside the body. What is the pathway? This is very important. How it travels, how it starts, how it ends, how the sense is going. So basically, here have four things. Okay, one is receptor, sensory neurons, sensory tracts, sensory areas. Okay, so this is the receptor. Okay, this is the sensory neuron. This is the sensory tract. This is the sensory area. So in the brain, this is the sensory area. Okay, so this is the sensory area where you can feel the sense. Okay, so this is the tract. So different. We have one neuron here, one neuron here, one neuron here. Every neuron will come here and attach. We have different receptors, from the receptors, from this receptors, from this receptors. Okay. Okay. So here coming the track, in the one track they go on the one area, that is sensory area. So we will see in the image here. I don't think it is given. Let's see the image. So basically, here one example is given. You can understand that thermosensory pathway. Okay, so basically, these are the skin. In the skin, we have thermoreceptors. So these are the receptors. Okay, these are the receptors. We have receptors here. In from these receptors are connected. There is a neuron. Okay, this is the neuron. So basically, this is the neuron and this is the tract. You are is connected to the thalamus. In the cerebral cortex, we have thalamus is a gland where we can absorb the heat and temperature. We know that. Okay, so this is like one example of thermoreceptors. Receptors, neuropathway, tract, and one is here sensory area. Thermosensory area. Okay, temperature, feel, touch. So this is the hot area. Hot hot pan is there. We are touching the hot pan. So how the sensation of hot touch is going from the skin to the brain. So we have receptors, thermoreceptors on the hand, thermoreceptors on the hand. So on the hand, we have receptors, and receptors are connected to the neurons, and the neurons are going and connect to the one track. So then that reaches to the brain, where is the thalamus area. So the thalamus is sensory area. Okay, I think you understood the example. Okay, so this is the thing we have. Again, we'll discuss here from this. We have receptors. So what it will do, it will detect the changes. So receptors are milding from here and there. Okay, they are searching, is there any changes are occurring in the body? Is there any changes? Is there any generator of impulses there? Okay, so first thing that, okay, receptors are usually very specific with respect to the kinds of changes they respond to. Those in the retina detect light rays, those in the nasal cavity detect vapors, and so on. Once a specific stimulus has affected receptors, however, they are respond in the same way by generating electrical nerve impulse. So basically, like in the retina, you have the retinal uh, receptors, so they detect light rays. Okay, and we have in the nasal, we have uh, which detectors vapors or any smell receptors are there. Okay, so then this receptors will receive and give the information to sensory neurons. Which neurons? Sensory neurons. The neurons only work for sensory neurons. Okay, sensory sensory neurons, what they do, they receive the sense from the receptors. Only they receive the or receive the information from the receptors. Okay, then it will give the information to the spinal cord or brain. Okay, from that the information will reach to the sensory area, like we observe in the you see in the image. Next, your characteristics of sensation. Okay, how the characters की क्या खासियतें होती हैं। ठीक है, ये सब भी देखने को मिलता है हमें। क्या क्या है देखेंगे हम लोग अब। आइए, certain characteristics of sensation will help you understand how the sensory areas work with information from the receptors. So basically, the receptors will give any type of information, but the area in the brain, the area will predict that this is the type of information, and this how we can uh, process the next work. Okay, so this is the only sensory area which can have the idea what I can do with this sensation. So this prediction is done. So what will happen here? Here the projection, okay, and intensity, contrast, adaptation, and after that we have the next output. That is fifth thing. Okay, these are the five things happen. Let's talk about each and everything. First is projection. The sensation seems to come from the area where the receptors stimulated. We know that from the receptors, the information gathered by the receptor. If you touch this book, okay, if you touch this book, this is I am reading the book now. The pages are there here. Okay, so I am touching the book. Okay, touching the book. So what will happen? So I am touching the book. Okay, the touch information from your hand, which is actually being felt by cerebral cortex. So basically, the touch information is not felt by your hand. It is your brain is felting like that. Okay, it is indeed the brain that feels sensation is demonstrated by patient who feel phantom pain after amputation of a limb, after loss of hand. For example, the person may still feel that the hand is really there. Why does this happen? The receptors in the hand are no longer present, but the severe nerve endings continue to generate impulse. These impulse arrives in the parietal lobe area of the hand. The brain does what it has always done and creates the projection. The feeling that the hand is still there for most amputees, phantom pain diminishes as the severe nerves heal, but the person often experiences a phantom presence of missing part. This may be helpful when learning to use an artificial limb. So basically, what is happening here? One type of projection. This type of things is known as projection. So basically, when a hand of the person is amputated, means cutted, whole hand is cutted, is removed, but the patient or the person feels sensation that he have an hand. Okay, because why? Because the cerebral cortex always, and the parietal lobe always send the sensory outputs. So the sensory outputs are still going on, but there is no receptor. So there's the reason the result is not coming. The touch or any other type of sense is not getting to the cerebral cortex. Okay, so this is the known as projection. Means you are, if you are not able to do anything by the hand, but you are not touching, but not feeling in its sense, still on the feeling of the function is seen. Okay, so this is projection. So this is the one of the characterization. When it is help, it helps when the patient amputated, but he want to add on artificial limb. Okay, so then if it is completely demolished, what will happen? If you are unable to put the artificial limb. Okay, so this is the, by the grace of God we had this thing. Next, second thing is intensity. Some sensations are felt more distinctly and to great degree that are orders. A weak stimulus such as dim light will affect a small number of receptors, but a strong stimulus such as bright sunlight will stimulate many more receptors. When more receptors stimulated, more impulse will arrive in the sensory area of the brain. The brain counts the impulse and projects a more intense sensation. So what will happen? Like one example is given here, that uh, when you see a bright light or a dim light in front of, imagine you have two types of light. One is dim light, one is full-fledged light, bright light. So what will happen when you see dim light? You feel there is any darkness in the room, you can feel. So the sensation is decreased, the pulses are decreased, the intensity is decreased. Okay, but when there is a bright light, what will happen? More sensation is getting on, more impulse is getting on. So you can observe there is more intensity, intense sensation is there, because we have more number of receptors are working. Okay, so these are the things we can observe. Next is third, contrast. What is meant by contrast? Let's see. The effect of previous or stimulus sensation of current sensation, which may then be exaggerated or diminished. Again, this is a function of the brain, which constantly compares sensation. If on very hot day you jump into a swimming pool, the water may feel quite cold at first. The brain compares a new sensation to the previous one. And since there is a significant difference between the two, the water will seem colder than it's actually is. So basically, it's contrast. Means if anything happened in the past, so again you are doing the same function. So the first sensation is diminished. Again, you felt new sensation. Again you felt new sensation after 1 or 2 hours. If you do the same thing, your brain will feel same thing again. The old memory are erased about sensation. Okay, you may feel new sensation. Again you feel whenever you do the work, the sensation of the work, you can feel the same sensation. Okay, the same type of sensation you can feel. This is the brain's power, which imagine, which can give the sensation to our body. So one example is given here, that a very hot day, you have the swimming pool. In the swimming pool, in the swimming the water is cold, but the environment is hot. So basically, suddenly you are falling into the swimming pool with the hot temperature to the uh, new sensation, the cold water. The old sensation is erased. The new sensation is erased. So the new sensation is added to the body. So this is how it works. It means contrast. Next is adaptation. Becoming unaware of continuing stimulus, receptor detect changes. But if the stimulation continues, may not be much of change, and the receptors will generate few impulses. The water in the swimming pool that seemed cold at first seemed to warm up after a few minutes. The water has not changed temperature, and the receptors for cold have no tools to detect. Therefore, they generate few impulses, the sensation of the cold lessness, and would interpret or feel that as increasing a warmth. For example, look at your left wrist. Many of us wear a watch and are probably unaware of its presence on the arm most of the time. The cutaneous receptors for touch or pressure adapt very quickly with continuing stimuli. And if there is no change, there is nothing for the receptor to detect. So means adaptation. So the sensation is adapted. Here two examples we were given. One example I will tell you about that. One example is that you are wearing a watch. What you are doing, you are wearing a watch. First 1 hour you can feel you are wearing a watch. After that you are unaware of your wearing a watch. Means the receptors will not give sensation continuously. Only the receptors seen that if any changes occurs, if you remove the watch, you can feel there is nothing in my hand, because the receptors are continuously giving the sensation to the brain cortex area. Okay, so this is means adaptation of sensation. Okay, this is the thing will this is the characteristic of sensation. Next is after image. The sensation remains in the consciousness even after the stimulus has stopped. A simple example, the bright after image seen after watching a flash bulb go off. Yeah, the very bright light strongly stimulates the receptors in the retina, which generate many impulses that are perceived as an intense sensation that lasts long than the actual stimulus. So basically, whenever a intense sensation is went to your brain, the image will still there continuously for some time. Why? Because it affected lot of receptors in the brain, in the means in the while meanwhile area. Okay, so the sensation gradually decrease. Okay, gradually the receptors will not feel the sensation. Okay, so this is the thing. After sensation, you have the imagination. You have sometimes you felt the imagination of the sensation is there. Okay, so This is all about characteristic of sensation. Next, you have cutaneous sense. So already, I think we studied about that, but we will repeat it. Okay, because we have all many receptors are there in the skin. How it reaches to the neurons by the receptors. Okay, we will study tomorrow. If you have any doubt, you can ask.